Hi, long time everyone. Um, anyway, I have an encouraging message for you that the Lord wanted me to share, and that is do not stop at your setbacks. Do not stop. Do not stop. There has been many setbacks around the world. People unfortunately have lost family members, their lives, jobs, income has decreased. So much has gone on. Businesses have gone out of business. A lot of people have suffered many things around the world. Well, this encouraging message is for us not to stop moving at the setback. We cannot stop. We must keep moving forward because if we keep moving forward, especially if we keep moving forward and trusting in God, the setback would eventually turn into a set up for victory. Yes, that's right. You heard what I said, a set up for victory. Well, there are many stories in the Bible that talks about setbacks. They don't use the word setback, but a lot of trials has occurred in the Bible with many people. Wars, fights, losses, a lot of things has happened in the Bible. And the Word of God, the Bible, teaches us how to move forward from those things and how to handle some of those things through other encouraging testimonies. First, I just want to thank the Father for allowing me to share this with you. I think it's really amazing that He would give me such an amazing message to want to encourage me because right now my life actually is, I'm in the midst of a change right now. With my own life, so I needed to hear this as well. Well, I want to tell you about uh just I'm gonna tell you about two women that went through a setback at the same, same time they were together. But one thing I want to mention to you right now is a series of individuals, just quick name call. David went through his own personal setbacks. He murdered, he committed adultery, he had a daughter, Tamara, that was raped by his own son. David went through a lot of setbacks. Do you know David's boss, who was also the king at the time of Israel, King Saul, was trying to kill David for years, not just 1 or 2 years, at least over 15 years. I mean, some scholars believe that Saul was king over 20 something years, but he was already king basically 10 years as king before David. So anyway, even though David had all these things going on, David didn't stop moving. David didn't give up. David didn't sit there twiddle his thumbs. David kept on moving. David knew what the Lord had called him to do, when Prophet Samuel went over there and anointed him to be the next king of Israel. So he knew the calling that was on his life and he kept moving forward. So I know some of you might say, well, I don't know what the calling is on my life, but that's okay. You got to keep moving forward. The Lord will tell you. If you keep moving forward, you keep moving, seeking the Lord. You will find him. He will tell you, okay? But not just King David. King David was not the only one that had setbacks. And Lord knows I'm not going to mention everyone that did. Abraham had a setback. Do you know Abraham lied and said Sarah was his sister? But not only did he say Sarah was his sister, he allowed another man to basically take her as one of the concubines. The man wanted to basically sleep with Sarah. He took her. And Abraham didn't say nothing. God intervened. Read the Bible, find out for yourself. God ended up intervening. But not only those two, Hosea, I love the story of Hosea. You have to read that story. His wife was a prostitute. Yep, you heard it. She was a prostitute. But that was her setback. But even that, God turned that whole thing around. Before I get to the two women I want to tell you about, I had a setback. I had a setback. My first husband was uh, severely injured by his brother. And at the time, I had two small children under the age of 7. He ended up dying 6 months after the injury. And I had just started my undergrad degree. Now, I knew if I stopped going to school, I knew I wasn't going to finish. I knew I wasn't going to finish. I knew I wasn't going back. I knew that. So I tucked away grief. I didn't even grieve. I did not grieve. In my heart, I was sad, but I didn't deal with it. I did not address it. I know this probably wasn't the best thing to do, but for me at that time, it was because I was looking at these young children and I needed to finish school. Now, that was going great until the day, it's like 11 days before graduation, my mother died. That's when I lost it because my mom was one of my best friends. So when my mother died, that's when I stopped. I stopped moving forward. I dealt with her death, the grief of her death. Then I dealt with the grief of my husband's death, and everything hit me like a ton of bricks. I literally stopped moving. I mean, I was just existing. I was just going to work. Have you ever been in that position where you just keep doing the same thing over and over again, but you really are not living? You're just existing. I was just doing what I needed to do in order not to be homeless. I went to work. I came home. I went to work. I came home. Eventually, I stopped going to church. I gave in to grief. I gave in to sorrow. I gave in to all the negative feelings that I was dealing with during that time. And that's when the enemy was right there with the right persons offering me the wrong things. During that time, that's when I got on drugs for about a year. And such a roller coaster time for my life. But the Lord came and got me. He literally came and got me. Seriously, he came and got me. And one day I'll tell you about that story. But he came and got me, and hi, here I am. And I never looked back. I'm staying right there with him, right there with him. I know obstacles come, setbacks come, whether you lose a job, whether you lose a family members, and I'm not making light of it. Not at all. I know how that feels. I've lost a brother, I lost a mother, I lost a husband. It hurts. A sister, it hurts. So, you have to keep moving forward. So I want to tell you about the two women that had setbacks, and their name is Ruth. I don't know if you read the story of Ruth and Naomi. Naomi was Ruth's mother-in-law. So Naomi not only lost her husband, but she lost her two sons, and one of the sons was Ruth's husband. So now you have Naomi. Naomi has no children and no husband. And then during that time in the scripture in Ruth 1, it was a famine. So now Naomi could have given in to her sorrow and given in to her hurt and pain and just been depressed and just stayed there and died. But she didn't. She knew she wanted to go home. She wanted to go to where she was from. And Ruth, I believe it was something in Ruth that knew, something in her spirit let her know her destiny was attached to Naomi. She knew she had to go with Naomi. So in the book of Ruth, actually, I look down for a second, in Ruth 1:11 through 13, Naomi tried to talk her out of it. It was her and her sister-in-law, Oprah. Like she tried to talk them out of it. Don't follow me. Go back to your family. I'm not having no more kids. I'm old. What you gonna do? Wait around? So I'm paraphrasing, totally paraphrasing. So Oprah agreed, and Oprah went back to her family. But Ruth, nah. Ruth knew I needed to go with her. I needed to go with her. So I'm going to read to you what Ruth said in Ruth 1:16. But Ruth replied, "Don't urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God." Wow, right? So Ruth knew there was something better. And I knew by following you, I was going to get there. There's something better. And I want to tell all of you that's out there that have experienced some type of setback, whether the setback has been financial, emotional, physical. Maybe you caught COVID. Maybe you're still dealing with symptoms from COVID, or complications from COVID, or maybe it's some other type of health illness. Or maybe you lost family members, maybe you lost a job, maybe you lost half your income and you just don't know what you want to do. All of these things are setbacks, and they're setbacks. And I want you to know that God, who created the whole earth and who can tell lightning where to go, is still watching us and he's still listening. So I want all of you, just like Ruth had no idea where she was going. Ruth left her family. Ruth left her home. Ruth left her religious beliefs. Like she told Naomi, your God will be my God. Your family, my family. Your people, my people. She was willing to leave everything for the setup. For the setup. What was ahead of her? What was before her? Not behind her. She was looking ahead, not behind. So I want to encourage you guys to look ahead, not what's behind. I want you to get up, wash your face. If you lost a job, wash your face, do your hair, get yourself together, get your resume together, put it back out there again. Don't be afraid of COVID. Don't be afraid of any of that. Pray before God. Pray before Him in the name of His Son and ask Him to lead you, to guide you where to go. Now, Ruth had no idea that she was about to meet a rich husband. She left a famine and walked into wealth. Ruth left a famine. Did you hear what I said? And she walked into wealth. Not only did she walk into wealth, but she became the great grandmother of an awesome king. Not a king as awesome as Jesus, but David. King David. She was the great grandmother of King David. The one who God said he was a man after his own heart. The Lord said in 1 Samuel 13 and 14 that David was a man after his own heart. That's pretty good for a human being to get that type of compliment from God. Anyway, my sisters and brothers, don't stop at the setback. Do not stop. Don't look behind. Keep moving forward. Be like Ruth. Have that get up and go tenacity that says, I have to keep moving forward. In the example I gave you when I lost my first husband, I kept moving forward. It was enough endurance, enough. The Lord gave me enough what I needed to make it through school. And you see what happened when I stopped. I gave you the testimony of what happened when I stopped. So we have to keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. You have no idea what's ahead of you. No idea. Ruth did not know leaving the famine she was going to walk into wealth. She didn't know. We don't know what's ahead of us. But I do know we cannot stop. I do know that the setback is just a setup for us to be victorious in God. Bless you all. I'll see you soon. God bless. Mwah.